Hello, I am the color analyst for PC3 Media, Johnny Clumpy. This is
Devon Osman, the analyst.
Today we are announcing our PC3 All-Conference team for the DAC. Devon, would you like to give a breakdown of the team and how it's made up?
Yeah, so we have the most people for the schools be from 6 from Crown Point and 6 from Valpo. Those will make up the majority of the team, 12 of the 22 guys. And then we have Chesterton for 3, Maryville for 3, Michigan City for 4, and LaPorte for 2. And then we have 20 of the guys are seniors this
21.
team, so most of these guys will be gone after the year, 21 guys. So then it will be a whole new team next year when we talk about this team again. You got 2 juniors and then 1 sophomore will be making up this team. So what do you want to start with?
We will start with the offense. Our quarterback for the all-conference team is Noah Elric out of Crown Point. He is a 3-star Miami of Ohio commit, absolutely electric. He put up absurd numbers this season, maybe like the MVP of the whole conference if we gave out those awards. He was great all year for the best team in the conference. I mean, he's at the helm of the best offense in maybe the entire state of Indiana. A very deserved spot on this list.
Yeah, and then his running back for the team is also on here, Larry Ellison for Crown Point, number 3. He is they're like together, the quarterback and the running back. They work together, and they've just led this Crown Point to a 7-0 this year, and now they're going into the playoffs with these 2 electric players.
Yeah, he's been absolutely amazing. He racked up, I think he was 3rd in the entire Northwest Indiana region in yards. He's 2nd or 3rd. But the guy in first is our other running back, Andrew Govia out of Chesterton. He is a junior, one of the 2 juniors on this list. Absolutely elite at the running back position. He racked up the yards. In the game that we called, he had over 250 rushing yards. Absolutely absurd the way he can break contact. Like, you're going to need multiple guys to bring this guy down, but he finds a way to fight through it every time.
And then next up, we got our first Valpo player on this list, wide receiver Austin McKenzie, who coming into the year, he was looked at as the 4 wide receiver for Valpo, but he has been their best wide receiver this year. He has really helped Valpo have a winning record and be coming into the conference for sectionals is going to be a main target. He has 38 receptions for 368 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And adding to your point, he stepped up in the absence of their guy who has been their number 1 receiver for the last 2 years coming into this year, Julian Stokes, who missed a couple games. Austin McKenzie filled his shoes as a guy who was coming into the year as a 4th string, but he's made the opportunity because Valpo has dealt with some injury, but he's made the best out of his opportunity and been one of the best wide receivers in the conference. Our other wide receiver is the only sophomore on the list, Jamin Harrell of Michigan City. This kid is great. The numbers speak for themselves. 10 receptions for 328 yards. That is an absurd average of 32.8 yards per catch. That is the biggest number I think I've ever seen out of a guy who's played like a whole year and not just 1 catch for 75 yards. And then he's added on 4 receiving touchdowns, but he also has a couple carries, and he is 353 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns for Michigan City. Just a great all-around player and a good tool that any offense would want to have.
Yeah, he's both a wide receiver, and he also runs the ball with 34 carries. So he carries the ball more, but receiving the ball, he's able to catch the ball and get down the yards, obviously, with the 32.8 average. Like, he's just been great all year. And then we got tight end Trevor Gibbs from Crown Point, the 2nd junior on this list. And we saw him play.
Yeah, he didn't have his best game against Valpo, but you could see the impact when we called the game. He's a very physical specimen, a very big guy, huge athlete, especially for not even being a senior. He's got a whole another year ahead of him. Yep. Will probably be a repeat on this list, as I would assume he will end up doing it again next year. He also plays 2 sides of the ball, which is very impressive, but we got him for his tight end as he was putting up great numbers alongside the 2 other Crown Point players in this offense that we've already named. And then we have the offensive line, and we got these names by talking to people around the conference. And our offensive linemen our 2 tackles are Caleb Sharp from Valpo and Nolan Cicero from Crown Point. Our 2 guards are Adam Easton from LaPorte and Hunter Booza from Chesterton. And our center is DeAndre Price from Valpo. And now we are on to the defense.
starting off for the defense, we have defensive end Adrian Holly from Michigan City, who is a senior. All of defense will be seniors that we talk about. So next year, none of these names will be repeated. And Holly has 84 total tackles. He has 12 and a half sacks, which I believe leads our list. 2 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 forced fumbles. He's been very good for Michigan City, and they're going to need him for the sectionals.
Yeah, this kid is a super impactful player. He is a Kansas commit, 3-star recruit out of high school, and he's going to be playing at Kansas next year. He is just a super impressive player. You did not watch the Michigan City game against Valpo, but I was there, saw it happen. This kid was all over the field. Like, Valpo wouldn't really run to his side. They tried to run away from him because you can see the impact, and he'd still be the guy who ended up making the tackle. Now, Valpo get yards on it, but he was still able – he was flying all over the field, and there's a reason he racked up 84 tackles as a defensive end. That is a very hard task to do, and he was able to do it just with how impressive of a player he is. Our next entry on the list is Owen Edlin from Chesterton. He was a senior. He is he's going to be a preferred walk-on at Notre Dame next year, and he is a great aggressive pass rusher, just quick off the edge, and makes a huge impact for the Chesterton defense.
Yeah, and then for our defensive tackles, starting off with Adam Camphor of Maryville, senior, number 99, who has 49 total tackles and 1.5 sacks. He has 2 QB hurries, 1 forced fumble, 1 blocked field goal. So he's been very good for this Maryville team, who is second in the DAC above Valpo, who's the other team with above 500 record.
Yeah. And he's a very good player, especially in the run game. He's able to stuff that middle of the field. So any runs up the middle, you're going to have to go through this guy, but he's a great job moving the offensive line and causing havoc in the run game for the opposing offense. And then the other guy is George Branch, senior from Michigan City. He has 33 total tackles, 3 sacks, an interception at D tackle, 3 fumble recoveries, and a forced fumble. He's filling up the stat sheet. He's doing a little bit of everything, and he is another part of a great defense. Michigan City would be arguably one of the best defenses in the conference, and a big part is because of these 2 guys in the defensive line, the whole defensive line unit. But Holly and Branch are the 2 big names, and they're both all-conference members for a reason. Both they make a huge impact on the game of football and are huge for a Michigan City team that was a great defense, and they're going to need them to keep stepping up in the sectional game.
Yeah, Michigan City has 3 of their players on this defense, 3 of the 4, and you've talked about how Branch has an interception as defensive tackle. We have a linebacker with 2 interceptions as well. Brendan Gagan of Valpo, senior, has 79 total tackles, 2.5 TFL, 1 sack, and two interceptions as a linebacker. Very impressive, very helpful for this Vikings team.
Yeah, a team that is kind of a defense that has struggled at times and in parts this year, but he's one of the reasons in the games that they don't struggle. He's usually the reason why. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you go back and watch what the teams try to do, they try to run away from his side of the ball. Like, he makes such an impact. He shuts down a side of the field for running lanes. Running backs never want to go there. All of the opposing teams drop runs for the opposite side of the field. They do not want to run to this guy. He has 2 interceptions, and they were both very impressive. One was a jump ball against a tight end, and the other one, he read a screen perfectly, made a diving catch on an interception. Just a very impressive player overall. Leading to our another linebacker who is matching up with Brendan Gagan in the sectional, RJ Kane. So we will see a battle of 2 elite linebackers to start the DAC sectional. RJ Keynes is a senior at LaPorte. He has 120 total tackles, 2 sacks, 2 pass deflections. 120 tackles is a crazy number for a high school football season. You only play 8 or 9 games, and he has 120 tackles in 9 games. That is a crazy average per game. This kid is unreal. We saw him play early in the year. He's all over the field.
Yeah, he has around 36 to 40 more tackles than the second next guy with 84. And then Keynes has 120. It's just very impressive that he's been able to have as many tackles as he has. And then for Crown Point, for outer linebacker, we have Lucas Samborski of Crown Point for number 5.
Yeah, he's another 3-star recruit, and he's part of the Crown Point defense that feels like they shut down everybody. They shut down a high-powered Valpo offense. They've shut down everybody they've played. They get to the point where they're getting running clocks in basically every game. He's the leader of one of the best defenses in the conference. Probably it's either them or probably Michigan City, and he's the leader and the vocal point of elite defense. That's why he's on this list. Our other outside linebacker is another player on Maryville, Trenton Nixon, the senior. He has 33 total tackles, 6 sacks, an interception, 1 forced fumble, and 2 blocked field goals. Once again, another guy that's filling up the stat sheet, doing a little bit of everything, doing some stuff on special teams, forcing fumbles. He's even getting picks, but he's also getting sacks. Good edge rusher, but who can also show that he can drop back into coverage and make plays in coverage.
Yeah, and then for our first CB, we have Marquez Dabney of Michigan City. He has 43 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, and 3 interceptions. And he's one of the reasons Michigan City's defense has been very good. Their offense only has 140 points scored this year, but they've only let up 129. They're under 500, but if you look at Valpo, who's over 500, they've let up 234 points, while Michigan City's only let up 129. And one reason is because 3 of the 4 players we have on this list is defensive Michigan City.
And that's what we talk about. I mean, we talk about it's probably them or Crown Point has the best defense in this conference, and these 3 guys are a huge reason why Michigan City's defense is so effective. As obviously Dabney, 3 interceptions, turnover, causing a bunch of turnovers. He's even got a sack from the defensive backfield. Very impressive to see from a corner to get a sack, especially because it's not usually something that gets schemed up a lot in high school. But he got a sack, which is just something that's very impressive. And 43 tackles means he's showing up in the run game, able to help his defense out and get stops in the run game. Leading to our other corner, John Peters from Maryville, who has 28 total tackles, 1 sack, 4 interceptions, and 4 passes defended. 4 pass breakups. Another guy that now he's more of the coverage guy. Obviously less tackles. He also has a sack though, like Dabney. But 4 interceptions and 4 pass breakups is very impressive from the corner position. Great coverage guy. Somebody that you're not going to want to throw his way when you see him on the field.
And then our one and only safety, our second Valpo player on defense, is number 6 senior Jacob Moore. He's only played 4 games. He came back the last week that Valpo played
against Lake Central,
and so he only has 4 games. He has 21 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, but 4 interceptions in 4 games, and they're going to really need him for this push for state.
Yeah, if they want to win a sectional, this is the guy they want. This defense kind of feels different when he plays. He's such a big impact. I mean, it's something that they don't really get when he's not on the field. They don't force a bunch of turnovers when Jacob Moore isn't on the field. Obviously, they've had guys to force turnovers like Brendan Gagan, who has 2 interceptions. But this guy is like, he gets on the field and is like, oh, throw it his way. It's going to get picked off. I mean, 4 interceptions in 4 games is very impressive. It would have been great to see him play a full year. Obviously, he dealt with some injury. But he still had a great year at the safety position. Now we are on to our special teams, where we have our 6th and final Valpo player. Drayden Wilcox is our punter, senior at Valpo. He had 523 punt yards on 15 punts for a 34.9 average. He's one of the better punters you'll see in high school. Gets the ball very far, and that's what you need. Just punt it as far as possible. Pretty good when it comes to getting him inside the 10, inside the 20-yard line. Very impressive from the punter position. And
then to finish off our all DAC conference team, we have the kicker Oliver Brewer from Crown Point. He is 52 for 53 on all kicks this season. He's been very good. And when Crown Point scores, he's getting you that extra point pretty much. He's
going to get, because Crown Point is a very touchdown-heavy scoring team. It's just like every time they're just going to go down and score a touchdown. But it's nice when you have a kicker who's automatic and you don't ever have to worry about him missing that extra point.
And they're not going for 2 very often because they're so far ahead. Yeah. So he's just getting the field goals.
It's just nice to get that. And all kicks, so he's hit some field goals too when Crown Point's needed it, even though it's a very rare, but he's racking up a lot of points in this conference. But that is our all-conference team from PC3 Media. We can't wait for a good round of sectionals from all these teams and their spread-out sectionals. And we can't wait for our Laporte and Valparaiso game. We will see you on the broadcast.